today we're talking to Amit Gupta of Yulu and InMobi, for some of you who may recognize him. So Amit, thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah. So now going from InMobi to Yulu. Yulu, for all of you who don't know, is a bike rental service at its most basic. We'll get into the details in a bit. So how do you go from InMobi to Yulu? I mean, those seem like perfectly different industries.
Yeah. So it is related to my own life journey, where I spent almost 11 years with InMobi, building India's first profitable unicorn. And when we were working on InMobi, the word was actually India was very different.
Yeah.
Not only there was no angel funding, there's no concept of cloud, AWS cloud.
Right.
There was no concept of even people willing to work with you, because they will say, "Oh,
what is a startup?
What is a startup?"
Yeah.
And you're asking me to take 70% pay cut. Are you guys crazy? So first of all, the stuff you are doing is crazy, and you're asking me to do crazy things.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen. We were lucky, actually. We were very lucky. Not only we raised money from Mumbai Angel, which happened. We happened to be the first investment and very lucky one. And we also were very lucky to able to find some very passionate people, who thought that people will do something on mobile, and they will see ads on mobile, which is like, oh my goodness, you're talking about 3-degree complicated stuff.
People are just acknowledging today that everyone uses mobiles.
And it was not surprised when we got funded. We got funded on the basis of we'll do something on SMS. In really 2 months, 3 months flat, we realized that no, this is not going to happen. We have to look at mobile internet as a larger story. And lot of interesting, if you do InMobi search on YouTube or Google, you'll find plenty of interesting stories by one of us in some events or other. So my own dream of becoming an entrepreneur, when I was like very young kid, at the age of 30, no scientific reason, but I thought that this is the time I should pursue. Become an entrepreneur. Started some company, with friends, Naveen and Abhay. They're like all buddies from college days, and we thought, okay, let's pick this problem. Looks like crazy one. We'll solve it. And we had amazing time with InMobi. Learned a lot, proved a lot of things which were not traditional. People said, okay, this will not happen, that will not happen, you are crazy. We just believed in that this is what the word we think will happen, and we stuck to that. And now all of the advertising in the world, so digital has already taken over the traditional advertising. Within digital, mobile has taken over the desktop PC. So what we thought will happen actually happened.
Yeah, that Geo revolution must have been great for you guys.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the way I had this dream of becoming an entrepreneur at the age of 30, I had a dream of retiring at the age of 40.
Oh, okay.
And I was not mature enough to even know that what does it mean. Yeah, and when I was like growing older and like, okay, I committed to myself that I will be happily retired. What exactly I'm going to do, and after a lot of introspection and talking to a lot of people, I actually understood and identified by some more introspection that probably I want to do something for the society.
Okay, so you reached a point where you said, I've been an entrepreneur, I've been a successful entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I want to work for the good of everyone else.
Yeah. So while making advertising beautiful was very enjoyable, but I thought, let's make society around us better.
You sound like a lot like Batman right now. It's going, I've made my money, I want to save society.
No, I'm not making it up. This is actually truth. And then decided to pursue something in the social impact sector. At the same time, also very clear that I don't want to be doing an NGO. Because NGO means you are relying on someone else's money. So either you have hundreds of millions of dollars which you can put it on philanthropic cases, otherwise you do something. So even I looked around people like even Bill Gates. So he has his own money, but the amount of time he and his wife spends on ground in making sure that money is actually
they chase the money.
impacting.
They don't just give it to people.
Correct.
Yeah.
So then I think the answer was very clear that okay, I want to do something social good. I need to create an engine which is self-fulfilling and it's basically does for long
something
time.
that can keep going without you.
So create kind of an institution rather than you just put some money towards a cause.
So now you want to do, we've reached the point, you've had your 10 years of success.
Yes.
You've reached the point of retirement. Okay, don't want retirement, I want to be Batman. So now you've reached, I want to do social good, but how did you end up on, I want to do cycles for rental?
Yeah. So cycle for rental was more of an outcome. It was more problem first approach.
Okay.
And I actually looked around and I was very clear that I want to do something in India for India. Whether this solution can be extended to global world, it would be amazing. But at the same time, I was very clear that I want to do something for the country.
Okay.
And that's how I started looking at what are the social problems, and not that I have to sit and think. We experience that problem every day.
Walk around every day.
And in my case, I particularly looked at water, sanitation, and I believe that they are the coming crisis. Someone has to address for sure.
Especially when you live in Bangalore, it's something.
Correct.
Hits you in the face every day.
Heard about Shimla, drying up. Bangalore is actually on that list where if there will be 5 cities without water,
very close,
we are basically going to be one of the cities. So very scary situation. But after some thinking, some understanding, I realized that this is probably not the problem which one can solve easily using technology. I still remain committed and worried about that problem, but my own contribution to that problem, I could not find something where I was playing a role, honestly. Right. And at the same time, I had a stint in the US where InMobi office in US and operations needed to be growing.
Right.
So I moved to San Francisco office with my family.
Okay.
And lived there for 2 years. And idea was to
help InMobi get bigger.
Make them basically bigger in terms of people and side of the business. So when I come back, and one more interesting thing, my office and my home are like 3 kilometers from each other.
In Bangalore?
In Bangalore.
Okay.
And I used to take really 7 minutes from my home to office, which is like a normal time, right?
I would love a
2 to 3 kilometers commute in a car, how much time you should be taking. And when I came back, the same commute became 30 minutes.
So 2-year gap.
And I was like, wow. And maybe it's not true for the entire city, but the stretch where I live is the outer ring road, Bangalore area.
I think
there's way too many, tech parks and way too many homes.
I think, most people in urban cities in India can relate to what you're saying.
Correct. So, and okay, I said, okay, time, not a problem. But then I realized that it's not only me, but my colleagues in my office. First of all, they will not come on time. So my office, which used to be buzzing at 9:30, is all vacant. It's like 10, 11 people are coming in, even at 11 o'clock. Look at their faces, frustrated. You cannot have a dialogue with them. If you call for a meeting in the morning, first of all, they will be late. Second of all, they cannot be contributing in a manner which is required.
Right.
And I realized that not only coming to office but also going to home, they're not talking in a friendly manner with their spouses, their families, their kids. So I realized that this is actually a big social problem. And another thing which I noticed, because of the traffic congestion, we're also basically impacting the environment very badly. So
and
pollution
goes back to water sanitation.
1/3 of the pollution is caused by the vehicular population in big cities. So both of these problems are kind of coming and hitting us very hard. And I thought that while education and healthcare are also a big problem, but do these problems hit me every day?
No.
Answer was no. So I have to be really passionate about this problem to be pursuing it. But is traffic problem hitting me and my family every day? Answer was yes. Can I do anything about it? Answer was no. As a common man,
right.
Like even our country's richest man, Mukesh Ambani, even he did not get permission to fly helicopter from his home. So even he has to go through the same road. So imagine the gravity of a problem which is hitting you, and if you pick it up and And why I'm telling you that, it is actually giving us a reason to fight and make our determination even stronger, that this problem mess has to be solved.
Correct.
Important one. So that's how we picked up Yulu. And
I mean, so something you're telling me off camera.
Yeah.
So you got the idea for Yulu around August last year.
Correct.
You left InMobi by October.
Yeah.
Got your founders together, same month, and launched the product by January, which is ridiculous. That's a 5-month turnaround from idea to company.
Yes, yes. So it's like, it's like having a second kid. When you have a first kid, you have to figure out which is the right doctor, hospital, and the ecosystem around that.
My scared.
But when you have second baby, you know which doctor to go, what you have to do, where to shop, what all things to do. So same thing happened with me as well. And luckily, we have actually very strong co-founding team. All of them are second time or third time entrepreneur. So for us, we knew how to pull resources.
So everyone's the same boat as you. They've done something successful.
Correct. So it's like all 40 plus and in this zone. Although one of my co-founders is 50 years old.
Oh.
And it's like, okay, we know the people, we know how to get things done. And that's the reason, when I spoke with my board and my co-founders in August, with some hesitation and some to and fro, they said, okay, you seem to be very determined in doing this. And you have 3 months to settle this. Make sure that there's no problem in transition. And good part was that the team who has been working with me on the stuff which I was driving, they have been working with me from last almost 3 years.
Okay, so they know the process.
Very, very, solid team whom I have personally groomed, and I have full faith that whatever I've been doing, they will not, leave the ball. And everyone got that comfort, and that's where, October last, I kind of moved out.
And got Yulu. So now you've got Yulu set up, right?
Yeah.
So you get it going, you've got the funding, you've got the bikes on the roads.
Yeah.
Now, you're telling me that, and something some of you may have heard, China tried this whole experiment last 2 years.
Yeah.
They tried to get bikes on the road. They tried to get more people to use bikes. And a lot of their startups have been, dropping like flies really. I mean, 5-6 different companies shut down last year because of various reasons. Lack of investment, people stealing bikes, simple things.
Yeah.
So how do you plan to counter these problems in India? Why would your company succeed when in China so many companies, so many startups that usually work in China have failed so desperately?
Yeah. So let's give you a little bit more facts and colors. So what happened in China? First of all, unlike India, they have an amazing infrastructure. So they have bicycle lanes.
Oh, you mean literally road infrastructure?
Correct. Okay. Plus, they also have created a lot of places where one can leave the bicycles. In India, we don't have this. And I'll come to the India challenges or opportunities both. So what happened in China, the whole setup was made where if you have the right capital, you can scale very fast.
Right.
That's the reason Ofo and Mobike, they basically grew up like crazy. So they added millions of bikes, they were raising hundreds of millions of dollars and millions of bikes literally every quarter. And everything was ready, it was just a matter of money. And there were almost 100 startups because in China, getting the bicycle made, getting the app, and it was like a package. You come and order 1,000 bicycle, I'll give you software free of cost. So it became a kind of a commodity. And no wonder it seemed like a gold rush, 100 odd startups. They flocked towards that. And as it happens in that kind of setup, the best players who have got the capital team and decent product, they win.
So
and that's why the consolidation, which happens typically at the maturity of the industry, it happened very quickly in their world because everything was just
ready to go.
And now sitting today, out of those 100 startups, I would say there are only 4 or 5 left. Ofo, Mobike.
And they're all pretty big guys.
Yeah. Ofo and Mobike put together, I don't have the official number, but I think they are close to 70% of the market. And reason being that there is hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right.
Now, and they also had the same issue in the beginning because the bicycle people were using their phone and they were leaving it anywhere. So they have issues of vandalism, they have issues of bicycle being stolen away and things like that. But what happens, is the industry matured, then you as a person who has a bad intention, you do it once, you do it twice, then post that you don't have that. Half of the time you do it because there's a kick, and half of the time you do it because it's an economic value.
Yeah, but then if there's so many bikes on the road, who are you going to sell it to?
Because if you are trying to sell an OFO bike on Taobao, you will get, let's say, 1,000 rupees equivalent. But then people realize that anyway I have to pay nothing, almost close to nothing. Why even I buy this? And then if I buy this, someone will catch me, I will be in trouble. So it became so omnipresent that people had no reason to buy those stuff. And if there's no market of buyer, people don't sell it.
Right.
And that's how this whole thing came down.
Okay.
Now coming to India, we believe that India actually will also go through the same cycle.
Do you think it's gonna burst, fall?
So I'm not talking about the burst. I'm talking about the part of the theft and vandalism. So theft, even in our case, happens in few cases. But good news is because we are having GPS in the bicycle, in almost most of the cases we are able to bring it back. So we have set up ways to make sure that bicycles are not exposed in areas where there's a possibility of bicycle being flicked away. So we manage those things. We have created non-operational zones in our app where the risky zones you cannot even leave the bicycles.
Right.
So we basically evolved over the last 5 months.
So if you leave the bicycle there, even by mistake, you get charged for it.
You get penalty if you leave it on the risky area. So we have basically gone through that. We have a process of securing the bicycles in the night. During the day, people are not that bold or bad. They don't do that in the day. Evening there's a problem, but evening we have a process to secure all the bicycle. And it happens with the help of our own community, our own users.
Okay, so they themselves report, I left it here, I left it there.
Correct. So we found very scalable way which is working well for us. As far as the capital infusion is concerned, unlike China, we do not have infrastructure.
Exactly.
Which means that even if I have $100 million, I cannot just go and deploy 1 million bicycles in this country. Why? Because you have to go work with the city, you have to go work with the large real estate developers to get parking space, and this is more of step-by-step process, which by the way is bad because we cannot have a hyper growth curve, what happened in China. At the same time, it gives us a lot of time and patience to build this business. So if everything is perfect, then what will happen again? Some industrialist will come, he will say, okay, my $500 million, this business is mine.
Okay, so your point is because it's not perfect, we're not susceptible to China's problem of anyone can do everything and
True.
Market collapses.
True. And the biggest problem what China had because of that, there was oversupply of bicycle. So if you go and do Google search of bike sharing mess, you will see a lot of videos and pictures where hundreds of thousands of bicycles are being shown abandoned.
Right.
And this was the biggest challenge or outcome of the excessive supply of China, which we believe will not happen in India. To start with, even if you buy, you cannot bring it out of your warehouse because you have to put something somewhere, and we don't have a lot of places.
Yeah, there's no docks.
There's no, so dock is anyway not there even in our business, but you have to put it somewhere.
Right.
You cannot put it someone's in front of the shop because he will be unhappy. There's no public space where you can just put it. So this is actually one good and bad thing, as I said, in the context of country. Good news in our case, when we were starting, people were not sure that people will use these bicycles for office commute. So this is a problem we are trying to solve.
Right.
We are not about, by the way, we are not a bicycle rental company. We are urban mobility as a service company where we are using bicycle as a tool.
Okay.
So for us, the phenomena of bicycling is an outcome, not the
point.
The point. It's
company.
not the focal point.
Okay.
Our focal point is to reduce the traffic mess. How? Bicycle. Why? Because ultimately the big vehicles, we want people to not use their car. They should not use the taxis. They should use bicycle if they are commuting for short distance. For long distance, please go ahead, do whatever you want. If you are traveling with your family, please use safer, bigger vehicle, no problem. But when you are moving for 2-3 kilometers, then why not use a smaller vehicle?
So have you seen any success there? Have you seen people using it for commuting?
So we actually have seen massive success. We are supply constraint for good. So what we have been able to do, we basically have partnered with a lot of tech parks in Bangalore and in Pune. So that's where we are live. And most of these tech parks have given us a space to create what we call it as Yulu zone. And Yulu zone is nothing but preferred parking spaces. So people leave the bicycles there, they pick the bicycles particularly in those spots, and then they take it home, they bring it back, so they take it for nearest food joints.
How do these agreements work? Is it that every time I get a bike, I scan a QR code or something and I register this is my bike? Or is it that I say, okay, I want this bike for 1 month?
Yeah.
How does it work? So, is it a daily thing or monthly thing, weekly thing?
It's actually hourly thing, half hourly thing.
Wow.
To be precise.
Okay.
So we charge you when you scan the bicycle, it opens, and then you take it anywhere. And the moment you close the lock and end your trip, you are off the hook.
So, but what happens if I'm for commuting, right? So I've got to go home. That means I've got to keep the bike overnight.
Yeah.
So I'm keeping the bike overnight. Now I may lock it and say, okay, this is the end of my trip. But no one else can use it, right? Because it's sitting in my house. So isn't that a lot of lost revenue for you?
No. So anyway, in the night, the usage of the bicycle for office or the work-related commute is very less.
Okay.
And we also had to secure the bicycle for the night. So we actually have offered this feature called Yulu Keep. Yulu Keep is nothing that if you are taking our bicycle after 6 p.m., then we ask you to either drop it back at one of the Yulu zone
or
where it is secured, which may happen at your apartment complex, or the metro station or the railway station or the bus station, or you take it to your home. Keep it secured like your own bicycle. And all we say that next day when you come back, you basically leave it in some public place before 9 a.m. Which means a typical office commuter, he takes our bicycles in the evening, takes home, keep it safe. Next day morning, he again use the same bicycle.
And for no extra charge?
No extra charge. Okay. So all that person is paying us for the usage from open of the lock to the close of the lock, that's all we charge. We don't charge you for the holding in the night. So works for Yulu because our bicycles are being secured by our community free of cost. Works for the user. Why? Because he is getting an assured bicycle for next day morning.
Right.
Otherwise, the same circus of trying to book a taxi, waiting for half an hour, search fee, again getting time on the road 30 minutes. This all circus goes away. So working well for the company and the community.
So that's interesting bring up search pricing. How much do these Yulu half hourly rates? How much?
So we have our normal rate card at 10 rupees for every half an hour.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, and we were running an offer for 5 rupees for almost 4-5 months. And in fact, sometime this week, we come back to normal rates. At the same time, we are offering some packs. So there are a lot of users who are using us
that's a phenomenal thing, right?
Yeah. So again, the packs, if you buy, you again pay us $5 per ride, rather than $10.
No, but that's incredible because I'm thinking about a 3-kilometer ride on an Uber and Ola is like 100 rupees.
Yeah. And a lot of pain.
Yeah, a lot of pain. This is, even if you're a slow rider, it's 20 rupees a day.
Yeah, typically people do, so on an average, a bicycle goes at 15 kilometers per hour. So you dig it by 10. So whatever way you cut it, half an hour you can easily go 3 to 4 kilometers.
Exactly.
So you're right. So you're paying literally 2 or 3 rupees per kilometer. And what you gain out of that is incredible.
Yeah.
So you burn some calorie, you saved a lot of time, lot of money, lot of hassle, which is cool.
So I have one last question, which I'm trying to fully understand how your company works. So are you in contact with your users in the sense of do you track, okay, this guy's done it a lot, or is this specific person feeling any blowback that he wants to tell you about? Did his tire puncture and it wasn't his fault?
Yeah.
Did he get a bike, the gears are off?
Yeah.
And how do you deal with that?
So it happens at 3 levels. So I think you're asking a very interesting point. Unlike Uber and Ola, where the driver maintains the car.
He's the point of contact,
In our case, these bicycles belong to us.
Right.
And we are running as a service. We are not expecting you to maintain the bike.
Correct.
Right? For you, it's a start to end.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of backbone of service and maintenance which we have created.
Okay.
So we have a staff which actually fleet of people who go to our areas to do multiple things. So first of all, they clean the bicycle. So
very
a
important
lot
thing.
of dust in the city, right? So every bicycle gets cleaned at some frequency. So there's an interesting machine algorithm which we use, and then this guy does that. Same guy actually also does the vital check. So the person will check for the brake, for the tire, for some, there are 8 checklist of 8 items. He does that.
Okay.
And if there is a problem with that, he will report. So our own operation team has a separate app.
Okay, you do internal operations.
Correct. So there is a separate app using which he will report that okay, I cleaned the bike, I tested it, but this was a problem, and he will flag it. The moment it gets flagged, there's another team which basically is moving with an auto. So if there's a minor problem, this guy himself is trained.
So you got another maintenance team going around an auto to go fix bikes.
Correct.
That's incredible.
So this guy itself is equipped to fix normal problems, like pedal and brake.
Small issues.
He's actually good, so he carries a bag. But if it is beyond him, then there will be a truck, a small auto, who will take it to the repair center.
Okay.
And that repair center has a technician who is a little bit more equipped, so he does that. Second way, our users, they also tell us. So we have a section on our app which is report an issue.
Right.
So you basically open an app, press a button, and tell us that okay, he will say, oh, chain is loose, or the seat is not proper. So they basically report us, and the moment they report, the ticket gets generated, and same circus will happen. So either this guy who is on the fleet he will fix it, or it will get fixed by our major technician.
And do you have a system where you can check the ULU zones to see if there are bikes there?
True. Yeah.
Okay, so you can go online. So you're at home. You say, I've got a ULU zone 500 meters from me. I can check at home. Is there a bike?
And
available?
beautiful part is because our bicycles are dockless, you actually can find a bicycle maybe next door.
Okay.
Because we allow users to drop it anywhere.
Oh, ULU keep idea.
Not keep. So keep happens only in the night.
Yeah.
During the day, you actually drop it anywhere.
Well, how do you get the bike back?
Someone else takes it.
It's already built to that much of a community where literally anyone you can drop it, someone else picks it up?
You open, I'll show you the app, you open it, you will find half of the cycles in the ULU zone, and more than half the cycles are not in ULU zone. They are being parked in some safe place.
Wow.
Literally, let's say if I am coming to your place, I'll park it outside and I'm off the hook. Even if I want to hold that bike, I cannot. I don't let you.
So the moment you lock it, you're done?
You're done. You're off the hook. Someone else...
What happens if someone on the road steals it?
He will take it.
No, someone steals it, not with the ULU app.
Does
they
not,
see a bike and take it.
Does not happen in the daylight. And then we have an ops team. There's a SWAT team which watches that if lock is closed and is moving, so we get an alert. We nab that guy.
So that's incredible. So you don't actually have a lock on the bike. You just have a system that says it's moving without us.
We have a lock on the bike, but we have sensors on the lock. We have GPS. If you try to hit that lock, we get an alert.
That's incredible.
It is incredible piece of technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So it does not happen. Impossible.
I mean, change bike. No one can steal bikes anymore.
It's a smart bike.
Yeah.
You think it's a dumb? No, it's a smart bike. And let me step back. Do we get do we get zero issues? No, we do get issues sometimes, but it's okay. It's like a credit card, or you trying to give someone loan. You do have delinquency. You do have frauds. We also have frauds, not frauds, but people will try to mess around with our
That's not an issue with your business model. It's an issue with
we have kept a buffer. As long as we have below that number, we are okay, and we are very privileged and blessed to be, because we know that we are dealing in India. People will buy or do anything even for 100 rupees. Right. So we keep ourselves very tight.
Right. So then, final question, absolute final. This is a question that a lot of Chinese companies stumbled on.
Yeah.
Are you making profits yet?
Not at all. How can?
At all. You said you're supply constrained, so you're.
We are supply constrained, but at the same time, we have spent millions of dollars in building the right platform, and the bicycle which we have bought.
Sorry, let me rephrase the question. Okay. Forget the infrastructure. Forget the initially buying the bike for 5,000 rupees for the GPS or whatever the amount it is. today you've got, how many bikes have you got on the road?
We have 4,000 bicycles.
Wow, okay. 4,000 bikes on the road. Do they pay for themselves today?
Not right now. If I just talk about the operations and maintenance part. So what happens, there's a cost of, let's say, that technician who is only fixing 50 bikes, because those are the bikes which
most bikes don't need that much
but
work.
we have to pay him for a daily basis.
Right.
So most of the capacity which we have created is not being utilized at 100%. The truck which is moving from one point to other
doesn't do much most of the day.
Yeah, he does not have the full. It's like, early days of Flipkart.
So it's the idea that once you, Flipkart's a bad example.
No.
Made profit.
But understand, or Amazon for that matter.
Okay.
When they had let's say 100 orders to be delivered,
same
guy will carry 100 in distributed area versus 100 in one lane, and that's how any operational business is.
So the idea, once you scale up, the technicians what they use.
But good news is that milestone of we started to make profit / we're not burning cash is not too far.
Okay.
We believe that we will achieve that in next 12 to 18 months itself.
Wow.
So this whole business model, we will be able to stand on its own feet. This business will generate enough and more money to not worry about cash anymore. So, we can take bicycle on EMI either. Right now we are putting money which we have raised from VC, but not too far from today. And that's the incredible part.
Yeah, that's very incredible. Your startup is on steroids. From August, when you had an idea, to a maximum of 2 years down the line, you're planning to stop burning cash for a market that is failed pretty much everywhere else on the planet, unless it's completely, an NGO style movement.
No, NGO.
And yours is a profit model that's almost there.
It's important, while we will work with some NGOs as well, to probably take their help in creating supply of basically people, skilling them for our business. So the person who does this cleaning to repair and maintenance does not exist.
Right.
So we basically will take some of the livelihood platforms help so that they can train those people and we will hire them.
Create
so
we'll
jobs. Create a lot of jobs.
Everyone.
We'll create a lot of jobs.
Amit, thank you so much for joining us. Yulu seems like an insane business model that's just going through the roof. I wish I joined there.
Thank you very much. But what you are doing is also interesting.
Yeah.
I hope there will be people who will be watching us. If not getting excited about Yulu, but if they can get excited about the notion of bicycling for commute, I think your effort and my effort in coming here will be well justified.
But all for the social good.